Chào mừng quý vị quay trở lại với chương trình Tôi về Việt Nam trên kênh truyền hình FBNC với cuộc trò chuyện cùng ông Michael Behrens là tổng giám đốc của Mercedes-Benz Việt Nam. Welcome back.
Thanks.
So in 2013, Mercedes invested 10 million US dollars in the ED coating factory. And this year, according to your public announcement, you would invest 10 more millions into production line and the dealer system.
Correct.
So could you give us some latest update about that investment so far?
Okay, if you want to earn money, you have to put money in. That's my belief.
Sure.
I think that's also our company's belief. So we're here to stay. That means for 19 years in a row, we've been in the market. And that means you have to continuously upgrade and invest. And we built a new kind of paint shop called ED Coating. It's a very technical term, electro-dipping coating facility. Last year, and this year we built a new product line for the S-Class, for our flagship model, plus expansion of the network. So I think on average over the last few years, we've always spent between 5 and 10 million. And every year, and our dealers spend money as well. That means you really have to put the money where the customer is. We will have a new expansion. We're going to open our first outlet in Nha Trang in a few weeks. And we're upgrading our facilities also because the competitors are getting tougher and tougher. So you have to do your homework to stay on the ball. Yeah.
So S-Class is the first model that ever made outside of Vietnam. What an honor for the Vietnam market to have an opportunity like that. What does that mean to your business here?
Look, my predecessor, when they made the decision for the S-Class, he had a different kind of communication strategy. He didn't really talk so much about production in Vietnam. I believe it's not something to be afraid of, but actually something to be proud of. And that's the feedback I get from the public. They trust us. They know if you buy a Mercedes, there's a star, the three-pointed star on the hood, and it doesn't matter where it comes from. It's like any quality product in the world. And we make it here. And for us, it's also a door opener and an opportunity when I talk, for example, about investments to the government. They're very proud. And they know that they can use this to get further investments into the country because a market which is capable of putting the S-Class together is capable of doing just about anything else.
Talking about expansion, would you invest in others? Would you build more factories in ASEAN countries?
That's a discussion that's going on at the moment. As you correctly pointed out, ASEAN 2018 coming along. So within my company, within all the other companies that are here in the region, they're now discussing what they want to do. And it really depends in Vietnam on the political outlook and the support by the government. And we're not finished with this process yet. But on the other hand, you would not put a lot of money here if you don't want to be in the country for the long run. So let me put it that way.
How about the growth potential for your cars for the provinces and cities outside of Ho Chi Minh City and Hanoi, which is the two largest cities in Vietnam?
Okay. You want to be where the customer is. Yeah. So we have among the luxury segment, we have the largest chain for about 15 outlets, all the way from Haiphong to Can Tho, if I pronounce it correctly.
Yes.
And now the new one's going to be Nha Trang. We're also in Da Nang. And we have service vehicles going to other cities like Dalat, for example. So we regularly go there. I don't think others do that as much as we do, but we want to show the customer that he can rely on us. After sales, meaning support, parts, checking the vehicle, upgrading the vehicle is essential part of the business. And I think that gives us an advantage to be where the customer is and not him having to drive 4 hours or 6 hours to the outlet.
Mercedes is already a strong brand to the customer minds in Vietnam. I'm just wondering what kind of marketing strategy you would apply in order to stay in the leading position.
Okay, we're working with something called modern luxury. It comes from the marketing department.
Okay, why is modern luxury?
Yeah, what it means to break it down is in the world of modern luxury, so I say there are differences. So on the one hand, you want to be elegant, but you have to be approachable. Then you want to be exclusive, but you also have to be affordable. You want to be modern, but you're also rooted in tradition. So that means somewhere in this kind of field, this is where Mercedes is. So we know where we come from, we know where we are today, and we know where we want to go. And we take the customer along on a road. So I think this is now developing. We're having a new CDCI. The first one to show this new CDCI will be our outlet in Nha Trang. We're bringing the new brands here, like AMG, the sporty version, to show that we have a wider context. And I think with the pricing situation, we also show that luxury can be and should be affordable and not something for only a very few.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
But how much do you have to innovate your marketing strategy when your brand already is so strong?
I think you continuously further develop it. It's not reinventing it, but you have to move ahead slowly. You're right, it should be careful. And Mercedes is the inventor of the automotive. So 127 years ago, somebody put down the first car and drove it, and that was the beginning of the automotive age. So we have a very, very strong tradition, but tradition also means you have to reinvigorate yourself to move ahead. So I think that's not an opposition, but actually it's two parts, or let's say two sides of the same coin.
So with your deep experience in many markets before you came to Vietnam, how do you foresee the growth potential for the luxury car business in an emerging market like Vietnam?
Okay, we, from VAMA, the Vietnamese Automotive Manufacturing Association, we foresee an overall growth of the car industry over the next few years, about, say, 10 to 15%.
10 to 15%.
On average. Luxury, as we can see now, is growing more strongly. Why? I think because there's a new understanding of what luxury is. Traditionally, the customer was more of a, let's say, elder gentleman, the traditional business guy. Now, there's a new generation who think they not only can afford it, but want to afford it. It's not about showing off, but it's about achieving. It's about having reached a certain target. And it's also in the luxury segment, especially at Mercedes, it's a lot about other topics. For example, safety. We didn't talk about that a lot, but Mercedes invented the airbag, the cell structure, and many other things, the ABS anti-blocking system. So if I talk to young mothers, for example, they say, look, I have a kid in the back, I want him to be safe, and therefore I want a car that will take me from A to B, me and my children, in a safe and affordable manner.
So what do you love most about living and working in Vietnam?
I'm very happy here. I spend a lot of time on the job, but I also spend a lot of time in the art field. I'm interested personally. I collect photography, work a little bit together with some of the artists. We also sponsor and support some of the artists. So I think this is kind of my niche where I find some relaxation and some off time. And I bought some paintings, hung them up in my apartment.
Nice.
So I think that's kind of my way of apart from reading about your country, traveling, I like to see what the new thinking is, what's creativity in this country, and what do people basically draw, make, or create, because it's very close to what we do, making, creating new vehicles.
For the car business, for Mercedes in particular, what seem to be your biggest challenges at this moment?
The big challenge at the moment is really the car policy or automotive policy of the government. Once again, government has laid down some groundwork. They want to grow the business, but it's not yet 100% clear how they want to do it, how they want to support the local manufacturers. And we from Mercedes, as well as my colleagues from the Automotive Association, are currently challenging in a positive way, talking in a good dialogue with the government, and I think within the next few months we will see the results, and then I'm optimistic about the future.
Well, thank you so much for sharing. Good
Thank
luck.
you. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thưa quý vị, vừa rồi là những chia sẻ của ông Michael Behrens, là tổng giám đốc của Mercedes-Benz Việt Nam. Quý vị có thể xem lại đoạn phỏng vấn này trên website fpnc.vn hoặc là góp ý và phản hồi chúng tôi tại địa chỉ facebook.com/tôi Việt Nam hoặc xem lại tại trang facebook.com/kinh tế tài chính TV. Thân ái chào tạm biệt và hẹn gặp lại quý vị trong những chương trình kỳ sau. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it. Thank you.